class. Welcome to Managerial Accounting. This is part 4 of our 5-part Managerial Accounting course. This first section, chapter 6, is about cost behaviors. So throughout this course, we have looked at costs for manufacturing companies, for service companies. So today we are going to start considering whether these costs are fixed, are variable, or are mixed. So many times I've talked about manufacturing cars. So I will go back to that example. When a company manufactures cars and they, for example, buy tires, tires would be considered a variable cost, as would windshields, as would radios. So if they're making 1,000 cars, they're going to buy 1,000 radios and 4,000 wheels and so on. These are variable costs. They vary directly with the quantity made. On the other hand, a number of the costs, particularly in overhead, are fixed. So depreciation on the building, depreciation on the equipment, the plant manager's salary, the quality control folks' salary. These are fixed costs. Property tax for the plant. They are there whether they make 1,000 cars or they make 5,000 cars. And most companies have a combination of both, which we will call mixed. So one of the key things in this chapter is the cost equation. This is an equation that represents what I just talked about, that companies have a combination of variable costs and fixed costs. The equation I have right here, y equals x times v plus f. And again, everything I'm talking about is in your book. So y are total costs, that's dollars. F are the fixed costs. V are the variable costs per unit. X is the number of units made. So this, no matter what we do, we want to be able to create this cost equation. So let's think about problem number 4. This is problem S4 in your book. So we have a company that is making brushes. And they tell us in problem S4 that the total cost they have to make 20,000 brushes is $250,000. So notice I've set this up like this, okay? So in many situations like this, it's sort of like a puzzle. We're given some information and we need to figure out the rest. So if they have 20,000 brushes, so the first question is, well, what are their fixed costs? Well, $80,000 plus what gives us $250,000. So 15 minus 8 is 70. $170,000. Okay, so now we know that the fixed costs are $170,000. So here's the other question. What is the variable cost per unit? We know that they're making 20,000 brushes and it costs them $80,000. So 80,000 divided by 20,000 is $4 a unit. So now I can write this out as my cost equation. So I have 4 times, and we'll call this x, plus 170,000 equals y. And now we have the brush problem converted into an equation. Why is that important? Because now we can figure out what this company's total cost will be if they make 25,000 brushes. Okay, so we're solving now for Y. So management says, well, what will our cost be if we make 25,000 brushes? Okay, so $4 times 25,000 is $100,000. Fixed costs are still $170,000. So therefore, the total cost for this company to make 25,000 brushes is $270,000. So I will leave this up here and we will continue on to problem number 20. This was S4. Okay, so here's problem number 20. This is a company that is cleaning garments. And I've put here on the board what you will have in your book. So you're given part of the information. Again, it's like a puzzle. We will ultimately turn this into an equation. But first, let's complete the puzzle. And one of the reasons I like this problem is because it makes you think about variable costs and fixed costs. How variable costs per unit will stay the same and fixed cost per unit will go down when we're doing a chart like this. Okay, so we'll start with the 6,000 units. We're told that total variable cost for 6,000 units are $4,200. Well, then what is the variable cost per unit? 4,200 divided by 6,000, 70 cents. So variable cost per unit is 70 cents. And by the way, now we know the variable cost, no matter what, is always going to be 70 cents. So we'll put that here and we'll put that here. Well, what are the fixed costs in total? Well, we know that for 6,000 units, the fixed costs are $2.40. So 6,000 times $2.40, $14,400. And by the way, these are fixed costs. So now we can fill in these two blocks because it'll be $14,400 no matter how many units they clean. That's like their depreciation, it's their fixed costs, things that don't change, property tax and so on. Okay, so for 6,000 units, we can complete this and add them together. So we have 6, 8, so their total cost will be $18,600. And this will be 7 and 4 is 11, $3.10 a unit. Now, let's start filling in the variable costs. So the total variable costs, if they make 4,500 units, 4,500 times 70 cents, $3,150. Now we can finish that. Plus 14,400. So their total cost if they clean that many units will be 17,550. And lastly, we'll fill in 7,500. 7,500 units times 70 cents, $5,250. 5 and 4 is 9. 2 and 4 is 6. 6,600. Okay. Now, 5 and 1 is 6. See? I can't add even at home. Okay, 16,000. Here we go. So this is the thing that's, I think, interesting. So we know the variable costs will always stay the same. But if we're looking at fixed costs, that will change. So we have now fixed costs at 4,500 units. Because again, they're fixed, $14,400. And if we divide that by 4,500 units, the fixed cost per unit is $3.20 here. So it went up because they're cleaning fewer garments. And we would expect it will go down here. So again, $14,400.
This number's wrong.
Oh, thank you.
That should be,
This is a 6.
the total should be 19,650. 19,000.
Wow, he's a videographer and a mathematician. This is just too good to be true.
Oh my God.
Okay, so, so we have $14,400 divided by 7,500 units, $1.92 per unit for fixed costs. So the fixed costs, when we start making more items, in this case cleaning more items, goes down. So let's take this and make this into our cost equation. Y equals our variable cost per unit, 70 cents times X plus the fixed cost, $14,400. So if we erase the chart, so we can do the very last part. So this problem continues to E21. In E21, they say, what will sales be? What will profits be if they clean 4,260 garments? Okay, so now that we have this, I'll write it out. Y equals 70 cents times 4,260 plus 14,400. So 70 cents times 4,260. 0.7 times 4,260. $2,982 plus 14,400 plus 14,400. Okay, so their total costs will be $17,382. That's our Y. They ask us, well, how much money will they make? So we're told that they charge $10 to clean each garment. So let's finish this up. The sales will be 10 times 4,260. So here's their sales. Their costs will be $17,382. So their profit will be $25,218. So this is our traditional way of looking at costs. So one last piece of today's presentation, contribution margin. So let me erase a couple things here so I can write that here. So contribution margin is another way for companies to look at how they're making money. Contribution margin is sales minus variable costs. That gives you your contribution margin. Sales minus variable costs. So I will redo this. I'm going to leave the number here so you see it's the same. So if we're doing the contribution margin, we'll still have the same sales number. And by the way, the net income will be the same. Sales will still be $42,600. But now we're going to break out the variable costs. So 70 cents times 42.60, which we already know. 29.82. So this is their contribution margin. So 42,600, 42,600 minus 29.82. So the contribution margin for this company is $39,618 less the fixed costs, which we already know, 14,400. Here's the fixed down here, 14,400. And so you see, we end up with the same profit, the same income. So just to be clear, the traditional way of looking at things with sales minus cost of goods sold at gross profit and so on, that is what you see on financial statements that are given out to the public. We also refer to that as generally accepted accounting principles. This technique, contribution margin, is something that is used internally within companies. You may have seen this term in your marketing class, and if you haven't seen it yet, you will see it. So contribution margin is something that managers like to get a handle on. How much more money will we make? This line here. Basically, how much more will sales contribute, hence the word contribution, to our bottom line. So we will continue to work with the cost equation in our next presentation, and I will assign homework today, and I hope you all stay well and stay safe.